What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and in this video we're going to be doing a practical Microsoft Excel interview question. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so the question is, create a pivot table that shows the total revenue and total expenses for each department. Now essentially this question is testing your knowledge on pivot tables, which is one of those very important things to know if you are going to be going into finance to work as a financial analyst or just do any type of data analysis. Pivot tables allow you to do a lot of things very quickly and very accurately. Very simple question, but it's testing to see if you know how to group and filter data effectively. That's going to be using the pivot table, right? Clarity and organization of the spreadsheet, right? Is the final result clear? Can someone just look at this and be able to tell what's going on? This is all part of financial analysis. So as you can see, this is our data here. We have a date, right? A date. We also have the department, and we have the category, and lastly the dollar amount. Okay, now if we go over here, the question again is create a pivot table that shows the total revenue and total expenses for each department. All right, so how do we do this? I'm gonna go ahead and select cell A1, and I'm gonna go up to the top here next to the home section here. I'm gonna go to insert, and you're gonna see an option for a pivot table here. So go ahead and hit pivot table. Now this is gonna pop up here. The first input here needed from you is going to be what area is the pivot table going to be pulling the data from. Now this is going to select the data for you automatically, right? But sometimes it doesn't. You might have gaps in here, so you can select the data manually, right? If it doesn't select everything, but by default it's going to select everything that it's able to. Now we're going to go ahead, and the second option here is going to be, do you want to create this pivot table on a new worksheet, or do you want to create it, put it on a specific existing worksheet? So if I selected the second option, I can literally create the pivot table here, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and add it over here. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, so now we have our pivot table here. So how do we get started? Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the department. So let's grab the department over here. I'm going to put this in our rows. Now we also have the category. I'm going to put that in our columns because I need the departments as columns here. Actually, the category as a column. Now the last one is going to be the amount. This is going to be in the values. So once you add something in a value that's a dollar amount, it's going to add those things. Now you can do multiple things with this. If you don't want it to add, you can do a count, which is if you click on the sum of amount, right, you can go to value field settings here. Now you can change this to be a count or a sum, but by default most times it's going to be a sum of the numbers that are here, so you can change to a count if you want to do that. All right, so I'm going to leave this as a sum here. Now one of the things I do want to show here is going to be sometimes if you needed to use the date over here, right? If I was going to add this date in the pivot table, let's go ahead and try to add this date as a row here. Let's add that on here. Now you can see that this is not in the right date format here. So what you could do here is, before you even create a pivot table, you can also clean up your data a little bit, right? So I'm gonna go over here. You can do go to the number section here, click the drop down, convert this to a short date. Now you have a date over here that doesn't have the timestamp. Okay, so let me go back to my pivot table. I'm going to remove the dates here. So I'm going to remove all of that because that is not what the question is asking. All right, so now we have our data here. So how do we clean up this data? Right now it looks all right. You can't really complain about this, but you can't really tell, like, are these is this a count? Is this a sum of something? All right, so to convert these numbers into dollars, what we can do here, we can go to our values here, the value section where you see the sum of amount. Let's go ahead and click on that, and we're gonna go to value field settings. All right, so here what we could do is we can select number format, which is going to be that option here on the bottom. Click that button, and we're just going to go ahead and select currency. And I'm going to go with the last option, where if the number is negative, it puts it in parentheses and highlights it in red. All right, go ahead and hit OK, and go ahead and hit OK here. So what I could do here is I can maybe move the category to the rows here, right? So we'll have it in a nice list here. Now, if you don't want to see the double names because it's giving you, each department has an expense and a revenue, and you can see that on here. So what you could do here is you can go to design, and you can just go to report layout, and you can say do not repeat item labels. Now you have one department name listed for each revenue and expense here. If you want to make this a little interactive and have less data on here, you can actually do something like maybe putting the categories in the filters. Right now, this is going to allow you to filter by each category, right? So if you say, I want to look at all the expenses, right? So I'm going to go ahead and deselect the revenue and hit OK. It'll show you all the expenses here, right? If you want to look at the revenues only, you can select that. Now you're looking at only the revenues. Now you can even do the opposite here. Let's say I want to put the category back down here, but I do want to put the department up here, right? So now you can kind of like interact. Now you can navigate this using the specific department, right? If you want to look at the marketing department, and you can go to maybe the sales department, expenses and revenues. All right, so that is pretty much it for this video. As you can see, very simple ways to use this pivot table. You can be as creative as you want to be. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.